Jesse Homestead. How the heck are you? This is not going to be my usual cheery self. I was kind of thrown back into a bit of a flashback today with what I saw going on out there in these cities. First, let me say, what happened to this George Floyd was not only just wrong, but it was a violation of his constitutional rights and a violation of law. And I'm hoping that the legal system deals with that. Will they be able to give him the death penalty like a lot of folks are asking for? No. Okay, sorry to say, probably not. Can they give him the maximum for third-degree murder? Yeah, I'd say so, and he'd deserve it. And the other officers that stood by and allowed him to do that. Then, hopefully, federal charges for violation of his civil rights come into play and tack that on to where they are looking at long prison sentences. Period. And trust me, gentlemen, prisons and police don't mix, especially when you're in there as an inmate. Okay, so be advised. But I'd rather see that as if they tried to do something like go ahead and tag on premeditation, and if they did that, and unless there's something I understand this cop used to work with him someplace else, maybe there was. Investigate. You can get this clown on premeditated murder, then yeah, give him the sentence. He deserves it. Period. That badge does not put him above the law. Much like your politicians today, their office does not put them above the law. Though sad to say, it happens a lot. And we as Americans have started accepting that. As far as these cities being burned to the ground by Antifa and all these different groups, and they're nothing but criminals, okay? They are not there for this gentleman's memory. They're not there to further the cause of justice for him. They are there to burn stuff, tear things up, and steal stuff, period. That's all it is. Watched a video of an older woman getting beat by several guys with 2x4s. There's some guys right there that somebody needs to take out in the woods and just bring their illustrious careers to a close. You're disgusting. As far as the cities go and your liberal governments that you have running those cities, I could care less if they burn the places to the ground. Serious. You get what you deserve. Truly do. You get the government you deserve. That's why I have a little sympathy for people who come crying, running from these cities like Chicago and states like California, New York. Oh, let us come down there where you're at with the low taxes and the decent cost of living and the not out of control government so that we can vote Democrat and have the same crap we're running from. Stay home. You built the mess. Live with it. People are tired of you. There's no sympathy out here for you. None. What I see on the horizon is a civil war. It's coming at you. Because the people out here have grown tired of this. Very tired of this. Now, if you want to burn your cities to the ground and live in the rubble, go for it. Enjoy. You've brought this on yourselves by the way you're voting and the people you're putting in charge of your communities. Period. That's simple. All right? You're doing it to yourselves. Your children are in colleges talking about socialism and how great that is. You hear people talk about things like slavery and stuff like that was just totally a U.S. thing. Well, yes, again, it was a worldwide thing. And it's still going on worldwide, but you'll open your arms, you little liberals, to every Muslim country in the world, won't you? Even though they still practice slavery there today. Still practicing. You're idiots. Okay? You talk out of both sides of your mouths and you don't know what you're even talking about. Idiots. But let me get down to where and how I truly feel about all this. All right? I think the Civil War is in order. I really do. Not so much to overthrow this government, because this government, done correctly, is a pretty good setup. Our founding fathers gave us some solid principles to work from. Okay. And if we would get back within those confines of those principles and put the federal government back into its box, be a pretty good place to live. This, that's something else. It just tickles the snot out of me. I sit and I listen to this stuff about, heard it today for a little girl, they weren't even on that topic, had to drag slavery into it. And she's a Democrat. And the party that was in charge of slavery. The party that came up with the KKK to help put you back in your place. The party that came up with welfare to destroy your family unit and to take control of you and put you back on a different foundation. All right? And yet you guys, well, yeah, I gotta vote Democrat. Yeah. Well, you wanted to know, and I've heard this, when I worked in subsidized housing as a young man, I kept hearing the same thing, oh, white man's holding us down. Yeah, he is, and they usually got a D behind their name. They're Democrats, because they want you held down, because they want to use you. And you're too stupid to figure it out. Why? I actually heard a mother talking about her children, 4 kids sitting there in public housing on welfare, collecting their food stamps. Okay, telling her children that it didn't matter whether or not they went to school, because white men just gonna hold them down. So she was raising children who were going to be poorly uneducated. What future did they have? You wanted to slap the mother. You wanted to slap the mother. But it isn't just it's not a racial thing. I also worked in a Section 8 housing area. It was all white. And the attitude was the same. You were sold on the plantation. Didn't matter your color. Mattered your attitude. But yet then you see other black and white families that came out of poverty that encouraged and pushed their children and had a great deal of success in this country. As far as a taxpayer, I would love to see it just disappear. Oh, there'll be rioting in the streets. Guess what? There's rioting in the streets anyway. Okay? So it doesn't really matter. And it would save the taxpayers of this country a fortune. And it'd probably be the best thing in the world for you and your children to go find jobs. Get an education. I'm for helping people. I've always said, and anybody that knows me, I always favored a safety net for people in hard times. Give them subsidized housing and utilities and whatever you need to do to make them be able to survive. Then also make available to them a 2-year community college program, turn them trade, so they can go get a job. Now, you're not going to let them go take advanced basket weaving, but have a good choice of different careers. And then maybe provide something like 24-hour daycare center in every city for people coming off of the program, so they've got some reasonably, and base it on their income, to where they have somewhere for their children to go while they work. These are all things that are very doable and would save the taxpayers of this country a fortune. Problem is, that's not what the Democratic Party wants. They want you sitting at home with no hope. They want you sitting at home with no future, so they can come along and peddle a bunch of promises to you that they've never fulfilled. Heavens, they didn't fulfill them under Barack Obama. You would think, at least with a black president, you'd have had something to help you out, but you didn't. Democratic Party's not your friend. They started out as plantation owners, and they're still plantation owners. Don't let them do it to you anymore. And it foments this kind of hate. Most people in this country are not racist, even in the South. Matter of fact, I've seen less racism in the South than I have up north, to be honest with you. That's sad. I've got 2 videos coming out. One is talking about, you need to wake up. Stop being used. Stop letting them play these games with you. And that's white or black or Hispanic. It doesn't matter your race. It matters the position they're putting you in. And yes, Hispanics, they're trying to make you're the new plantation resident. That's exactly what they're trying to do with you. They'll let them do it to you. They'll bust up your families. They'll destroy the family unit that you now currently enjoy, and they'll put you on their little plantation to where you're sitting around waiting for their check to arrive in the mail, waiting for the next government handout. Don't let them do it to you. I'm not saying vote Republican. Try Libertarian. You know, I'd get the government totally out of your pocket. Wake up, America. This country's gonna explode shortly. It's about over. Okay? You're bringing it to an end. Next video is going to be on this disgrace that this rioting has brought onto you, to people in general. College kids and so forth, you know. I got to be honest with you. I'm sick of my tax dollars going to these universities to turn out mindless idiots. They're not doing their jobs. Need to be fired. I want to see your kids be doctors and lawyers and engineers and have a good life. Color doesn't matter. All right? A lot of people look at me, I got blue eyes. He's Caucasian, right? European. No, not really. My mother was Lakota. My grandparents were also Lakota. That's who raised me. On my father's side. Okay. His mother was Seminole. And throughout our family, with all this pairing, my father looked very European. And 2 of his kids, out of their marriage, ended up looking fairly European. The other 2 didn't. Matter of fact, my brother, he kind of appreciated affirmative action, because when he first got his job with Boeing Aircraft, it was because they thought he was African American, and he wasn't going to tell them any different. just said, yep, whatever. He said, they can call me Polka Dot Man, I don't care, as long as they pay me. America has a lot of opportunities if we get the politicians out of the way and let America work. Okay? It's going to take a little revamping of our corporate structures. These guys have gotten too big, too powerful. And there has been a couple of presidents, namely Eisenhower and Kennedy, that warned us. Don't let them get too much power. We let the federal government take on too much power. They ignore the Constitution. They just provide it as an illusion of freedom to you. You're not free. I'm not free. None of us are free. Let's wake up. Next one, I want to talk to you a little bit about what's going on here today. It's disgusting and it's sad. And you and me, we all need to kind of lock arms and say, no, that's enough. Let's bring it to a close peacefully. Because it's going to get brought to a close and it may not be very peaceful. I really do love you guys and appreciate all of you. I love most people in this world. There's a few jerks that have pretty much convinced me they're not lovable. But for the most part, I try to treat everybody the same. Let's wake up, America. All Americans need to wake up. You're being played, I'm being played, we're all being played. Divide and conquer. Yeah, exactly. And as long as they can keep us divided, they can keep us under their boot. Okay, wake up, America. God bless you.